Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're in the right place at the right time. Today is Tuesday and it's 5 p.m. Central Standard Time. I just want to thank you guys for joining us on another spectacular show. We got another Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award recipient. I tell you, it's going to be great. You don't want to miss a word, okay? Stay tuned. Don't go nowhere. Matter of fact, call your friends up. Tell them, tune in. You don't want to miss this. So, as always, I'd like to give a shout out to my mentor, Dr. Hunt. Dr. Hunt and I have been traveling in life together for 30 plus years. And out of the 30 plus years that we've been traveling, he has been a blessing to both me and my family, as well as I have been a blessing to both him and his family. Now, the reason why I talk about my mentor as much as I do, because I want you to understand the value of a mentor. Somebody that you can call on, somebody that has been on this thing called life longer than you and help you navigate down all the roads and potholes and tell you when to duck, and then you'll know when to duck, because it's important to know that those potholes are there and you're going to run into them. There's nothing you can do about it. But at least you'll have somebody to help you navigate how to get in and out of them. Okay? That's important. Okay? So get a mentor, and then you can get a show where you can shout your mentor out. Okay? So I want to invite you guys to come over to my website, ask-dr-ron.com. When you get over there, I want you to take a look around, check out all my advertisers. I've got a few of them listed here. On my website, every advertiser, there's a link to their website. So that way you can click on it and you can begin to understand what they do even the more. I'm going to talk about a few of them. Sir Synergy. Now, I've been talking with Sir Synergy for the last week, and I understand even more how they have grown. They have grown so much that they are now teaching classes to people who want to be in the solar panel industry. If you have somebody that's looking for a trade or a skill, you're going to want to reach out to Sir Synergy, find out when their classes are going on, because that industry is not going nowhere, so that they can be qualified, certified, and bona fide to be able to go out there and help people understand the solar panel industry. Okay? So you definitely want to reach out to them, say, hey, I heard about it. I want to get in one of those classes. Do it. I'm telling you, you don't want to miss out on this opportunity. It is there. Do it. Port Again Sam. Port Again Sam has been with me for 30 plus years. Maybe not that much, 15, okay? And he brings in some of the best wines and spirits from all over the world, okay? Stuff you cannot get anywhere in the store. Once you begin to drink or taste some of Port Again Sam stuff, you're going to be hooked. You know, I enjoy the cognac myself. Every now and then I got to take a little cognac, help me, get the haints off my back, enjoy my day. People get on my nerve. I'm going to go sit down, drink a nice, comfortable cognac. The best in the world. You definitely want to get in touch with them. Set up a wine tasting. You will find your new favorite wine or spirit. Check them out. You definitely want to give them a call and find out what it is that he has. Whether you like sweet, dry, red, white, makes no difference. He's got something that's going to hit your taste buds. All right, I want to talk about Prince Hunter Financial Group. Prince Hunter Financial Group is definitely teaching people how to get into the stock market or the Forex market. He's teaching classes for you to understand what it is that you're looking at. Some people look at it, oh, I don't understand this. Well, good. You need to get in touch with Prince Hunter Financial Group and tell them that I want to learn how to be able to secure a financial security for my family. Of late, the stock market has been up and down, but you need to find out how you can use that to your advantage and learn what that means for you, when to get in, when to get out, all of that good stuff. So, Prince Hunter Financial Group has a promotion that they are offering right now. If you mention that you heard about it, saw it on the Ask Dr. Ron show, you'll get four, four free classes. Go get them four free classes. They don't cost you nothing. And then you'll be able to get a good understanding on how the stock market can be a benefit to you and your family. Okay? You can't ask for nothing better than that. If you don't know, you'll find out some stuff that you didn't know, and you'll be able to move forward and get in one of those classes that he's offering so that you, too, can create generational wealth. That's what we talk about, generational wealth. All right? Well, as I mentioned a little bit ago, that we have a first-time guest to the show, and I'm so excited because he's a young man, and he's accomplished so much in a short period of time, and I'm excited to hear about some of the things that he does and has done so that it can encourage young people to want to do some of the same things. Maybe not everything he's done, but some of the things so that they'll understand as a mentor how to be able to be, positive influence in their communities. So welcome to the show for the very first time, Mr. Sharmain Harris. Welcome, brother.
Welcome, welcome. Appreciate you having me.
My pleasure, man. Look, your uncle wouldn't let me do nothing but, you know, he was
I
on
know
me,
that's
boy,
right.
when you gonna bring him on? I'm like, I'm gonna get to him, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a good
Shout
thing.
out to Sarge.
Yeah, shout out to
Uh,
Sarge. Yeah. So let's talk about it. What I don't want to put you on blast. Are you married?
I am. I
Okay,
am.
so you off
Yeah.
the market anyway. So how old are you?
I'm 36.
36. All
Yeah.
right. Young tenderoni, as the old people would say.
Uh,
All them old women that watch the show, they're going to be trying to figure out because they ain't going to care that you married or not. But,
right. Slow down now.
yeah, your wife is listening. We ain't trying to get you in trouble tonight. You can blame it on me. It's my fault. But
Will do. Will do.
37 and accomplished. So, and now, no, I'm gonna bust you out again. What town you live in?
I'm in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
The first time I talked to you, I told you was behind enemy lines. Did I not say that?
Oh, yes, you did.
Yeah, I ain't gonna take it back, cause
Yeah.
Wisconsin is a. Um, I'm just gonna be nice and say Republican state. A lot of Republicans. So we
Yeah.
understand Republican viewpoints and ideology, and young people of color don't fit into that most of the time.
Yeah.
So how does it feel being behind enemy lines? Let's just start there.
So the metropolitan areas of Wisconsin, tend to be more Democratic. Milwaukee, Madison, Kenosha, Racine is mixed, but everything else is red counties. So how does it feel being here? Sometimes it's all right, sometimes it's not so all right. You got to take the good with the bad and realize that it's really like this all over America. To be honest, so like I could tell myself I want to move somewhere else. You're gonna find some sense of imbalance everywhere you go. So I will say this though. in 2020, if you didn't recognize the division happening in the town of Kenosha before 2020, during that time you did, because we had the Jacob Blake's shooting, and then Kyle Rittenhouse came from Illinois and came and killed two people,
Right.
and the divide was just massive, and we still haven't rebounded from that time, but we trying. I always got hope. I always got hope in humanity, but sometimes it's slow.
Now let me ask you this: have the police, because they threaten to have police sensitivity, training, so that they know not to grab their pistol every time they see a black person driving their vehicle. Did they do some of the things that they said that they were going to do, or do you think you still have to drive with your hands up, when you ran
Yeah,
past one, you know?
if they if they did, I ain't heard nothing about it. I know
Mm-hmm.
there's been a shift all around the counties in Wisconsin and other places because of the presidential race. People that are mad, they tend to get out and vote more. And so, like, our district attorney changed, our sheriff changed, um, police chief, and county executive, all in a matter of like 3 or 4 years. So I highly doubt that they would allow any type of training that even seems like it has the term DEI or you know what I mean. So I highly doubt that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So obviously, it puts you on red alert, with a family, married man. How many kids you got?
Three.
Three. So I
Yep.
know you have to be on high alert to protect your family and your three children, to make them aware of what could possibly happen in a moment's notice,
Yep.
within a situation. Now, Kenosha's not that big of a town.
Nope. 100,000, maybe 110,000 now with people coming here.
Mm-hmm. So,
Mhm.
how is that? Is it comfortable for you?
Um, it's challenging. You know, my kids go to a school that's predominantly white, um, and so happen to be that guide and that provider and protector, and make sure my son is aware of all of these things. It can get challenging sometimes, but I'm all up for the challenge when it comes to protecting him, not just physically, like if somebody try to fight him, I'm gonna protect him, of course, but like psychologically, mentally, emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
For example, today he came home and I guess it's a new saying. What do you say? The boys say, "Good job, boy. Good job, boy." Like that's some kind of thing, like the little boy saying. I'm like, who's saying it? He like, everybody. I'm like, well, we don't let people call us boy.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's a derogatory term that they
Right.
used to use back in the day. I said, now you a growing boy. At this point, I gotta teach you and hope that you will use it.
Right.
So it's up to you. But I think you should not let nobody call you no boy.
Yeah.
He's like,
That's
you
that's
right, you
that's
right.
that's like the
You
N
know,
word.
yeah. So like those kind of things are like the challenges, and I'm not necessarily gonna live my life in fear or paranoia because of some racist people unless they step to me. But
Right.
I'm gonna be proactive instead of reactive. So like I'm gonna be make sure I do what I got to do as a family. Make sure I'm aligned spiritually. Make sure I'm just prepared for each and everything, each and every day.
Yeah. And that's kind of relevant as a family. You know, understanding that the government is moving towards not teaching history, our
Mm-hmm.
history in particular. So if you don't understand about the 25 massacres that took place to black towns all across this country, like Tulsa, Oklahoma, Rosewood, and they were thriving, prosperous communities, and then all of a sudden, Europeans decided that they wanted to destroy what we had done so they can take our land,
Yeah.
and nobody has ever, apologized or said, okay, we sorry. We killed a bunch of y'all. So what? So is it relevant and more important for you to be able to teach your children the history that caused those families not to exist? Or do you want that type of thing, to be relevant so that the white students, or Europeans as I call them, understand, why your children feel the way that they feel because of their ancestors had done something to them?
Oh yeah, certainly. I'm always about, establishing the history. The far right, people would love for you to develop the mindset of where oh, that happened in the past. None of your family members were slaves, but you can't erase the historical facts of things that happened that affected us to this day. And so, I'm constantly learning. I'm a student, I'm a college graduate. I'm always reading. My book, I got plenty books, but a couple books stick out to me when it comes to these type of topics is The Color of Law, which, really takes a deep dive into the redlining and how ghettoization was created, The Color of Money, how they took us and, pushed us out of like things like credit and loans and funding, the new Jim Crow that goes into how the term felon has basically replaced the term nigger, and people with felonies are disadvantaged at a rate that blacks was disadvantaged in the past. So like making sure I'm aware of all of that allows me to sense that spidey sense come on anytime my son have a little bit of a conversation, or anybody around me for that matter. And then locally I like to get involved at some points, different forums and things like that, and make sure my voice is heard, speaking out at public forums, speaking out at the education forums and things like that, just to make sure our presence is felt. Because as I said, it's a town of 100,000, and I think we only make up about 10,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
And unlike Tulsa and all those different towns in North Carolina, um, we aren't in close proximity to each other. So it's 10,000 of us, probably back in like your times, we all lived closer to each other. You knew Grandpa Ford and Grandma Willis and all of that stuff, right? Now we closely connected because of the internet, but I don't, unless you like in the project area,
Mm-hmm.
you're not really in close proximity to each other. So it's hard to kind of stay focused and like create another mass movement, but
Right.
that don't mean it's impossible.
Yeah.
So,
So
I keep the
look,
faith.
so y'all too far apart to throw a hat up in the air and everybody come respond.
Right, right, right. Not everybody ain't gonna see the bat signal.
Yeah. For those that don't know, y'all better go check out Mobile, Alabama. What happened on the boat? You know.
Somebody posted that today and said
Did
happy
they?
Black History Month.
Okay. Yeah. 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 Well, it is Black History Month. True. But my thing about Black History Month is this. Um, I celebrate Black History 365 days out the year.
I
Okay.
like that.
I do a Black History moment, every Saturday. I'm sorry, every Sunday. I do one. So one of the problems that we have is that people don't know what their history is a lot of times. So therefore, it's very difficult, to I talk about everybody. I talk about, Africans. I talk about um, Americans, history, Haitians. I talk about everybody because
Hmm.
that's what we have to do. we have to talk about our history because it's our history. You know, that's the bottom line. We have to talk about it.
Yeah.
You know, and like I say, 365 days out of the year, I'm talking about it. And it's interesting, after I had started doing mine for a couple of years, I started noticing on social media people start stepping up, picking up the mantle, talking about our heroes and, you know, industrial leaders that like Jet, you know, Mr. Johnson. I heard people talking about, you know, food industry leaders like Beatrice Foods, you know, became one of the, you know, millionaires in the food industry, you know.
Yeah.
So all those kind of things, you know, are encouraging when you see people picking up the mantle and running with it. I'm like, y'all keep going, don't stop, you know. And I got to get back on my show, but we definitely need to keep it going. You know, don't give it up. 365. Even though they say, ah, yeah, you know, Black History was something, and this current administration said they don't celebrate none of that in the military now since they didn't took over. I'm like,
Yeah. I see.
good luck with that.
Yeah.
You know, not gonna happen. You know, because first of all, you know, even though they signed that oath to be in the military, don't mean they're gonna go along with everything you talking about. Not gonna happen. Okay.
Mhm.
You know, they trying. They really
Yeah.
are.
Just causing division.
Yeah, yeah. It's a situation that will be dealt with in everybody's own situation. Okay. So, by you being over there, I know you mentioned that you have a voice and then you actually speak out to people about what's going on. So, we know you're a mentor because that's what mentors do. So, what are some of the advocacies that you got going on up there?
So right now, well, in the past 3 years, I done a lot of work around the area of fatherhood and reentry. And so for the past, no, 4 years, I've run my own organization through my business, Sharmain Harris and Associates, where I've partnered a lot with the county on establishing different initiatives and programs for those coming out. So uh, maybe about a year ago, I conducted a focus group, which was sponsored by the Department of Health. And what I was doing was interviewing formerly incarcerated people, their family members, and then community stakeholders. And what we was doing was really just trying to get something on paper to describe the exact disadvantages people have coming out of prison.
Hmm.
And so I've compiled reports and stuff like that for that. I've also done focus groups around fatherhood and worked with the child support office. And I'm advocating for fathers at the state level constantly, speaking on how, little things like birth expenses and wage garnishments have been proven not to be effective in helping the father like pay child support. So I've advocated all the way from the state level, even as far as the federal level. But also in my advocacy, I speak. I'm a speaker, and my speaking topics tend to be a little controversial. But really, what I do is go in and I'm speaking to the majority women who are working with fathers, and I'm teaching them or showing them effective ways to work with dads and not be so punitive and have a mindset that we got to lock people up in order for them to get on board or what have you. So I advocate in many other different ways too. Even at the street level, I was doing something called Beat the Streets. We was getting out in the community, cleaning up, doing all kind of positive reinforcement to the youth in the community. I'm a football coach and basketball coach, so I always got my little boys, getting them ready, getting their minds right.
Hmm.
Um, I, I do so much that I forget sometimes, but
Hmm.
I'm always active in the community and especially my online presence really helps me connect with other people doing things. I do a daddy-daughter dance every year. I do a Father's Day cookout every year. So just making sure that men, I'm a big advocate for men. I'm a big advocate for fathers, big advocate for family, a big advocate for ministry, and just constantly making sure that pressure is felt so that that people can see you. Because oftentimes people advocate, but nobody sees you. So I'm constantly just out there making myself present, making my presence felt.
That's good.
Yeah.
Outstanding. Now some of the things that you mentioned early on, this is a question. Were they affiliated with the Second Chance program that they had came out with?
Um, I believe so. My career started out working at a community action program.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure if anybody is familiar with community action, but Kenosha has Racine Kenosha Community Action. Minnesota has Minnesota Community Action programs. Early on, I want to say there was some funding from that initiative
Mm-hmm.
that kind of helped us really figure out what it is that we wanted to do. Um, Outside of that, I've worked with many different groups in Milwaukee who was a part of that My Brother's Keeper Challenge from Obama.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure they had a lot to do with the Second Chance initiatives as well.
Yeah. Yeah. For those that don't know, go look it up. It was an initiative that came out that they started putting programs in every community where, for the healing purposes, they would put people that have been in jail, came back, met with the families that they had, victimized, and gave them an opportunity to apologize so people can, heal from being a victim, and the people that were criminalizing them, giving them an opportunity to go forward with a clean slate, you
Mm,
know. So that was kind of, Cliff Notes version of what the Second Chance was really all about. But it put programming on the street to try and help folks.
yeah.
Now, you mentioned something else a little while after that that I wanted to ask you about, and I can't remember what it was. Something you said. Mentoring. Mentoring programs. You mentioned something about coaching and things of that nature, being involved with young people, talking to them about encouraging them in the way you can.
Hmm.
So, man, I lost the train of thought. Man, I was going somewhere with that.
Yeah. So I mean, in addition to that, like I'm always gravitated towards the youth because they
Mm-hmm.
are the future.
Right.
And so I've educated myself and even got to a point where I was a professor of criminal justice
Okay.
at a local university here. And that was just another opportunity to teach and to guide young people, 18-year-olds, 19-year-old, 20, the age where you know the least, but you think you know the most.
Right.
But so that's that youth group. But my son is 11, so I'm always involved in his sports life. So he comes with 9 other teammates in basketball and then 20 other teammates in football. So just making sure that I have an opportunity to be an influence on a young kid's life because I mean the sad reality is some of their fathers not around due to a lot of the systemic barriers and
Right.
also personal decisions as
Pushed
well.
away. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I always recognize that, and that's deeply ingrained in my heart. So I make sure that I'm a presence and a father figure because I
A male
remember.
figure in their life.
Yeah, I remember like you. I remember my mentors coming up. I remember my coaches,
Right.
and
Right.
they had a little bit of a deeper impact on me than even my teachers had because they took the time to like
Hands on.
sit there and talk to me and mentor me. You know
Right,
what I mean?
right. Okay, the thought came back to me where I was trying to go. When you mentioned something about dealing with fathers and dealing with um, child support, there was recently a report that was just put out that points out the fact that child support was never designed for your money to go to the parent, the mother only. The system takes a large chunk of the money that you are paying for child support. Just say, for instance, if you're paying $100 a week, then the system takes $70 of that, and only $30 goes to your baby mama. So
Mm,
that's something drastically wrong with that system,
yeah.
because if they're struggling to get $100 a week to give to their kid, because you can't put two kids for $100, but to a kid that there's some political issues going on. I'm using the word political between the mother and the father. Then they need all of that $100. They don't need just $30.
Hmm.
You know, and then most of the time when it's at that point, you got to have order of protection, because if you go around there, she gonna call the police on you.
Yeah.
Because the system then taught her that your children's father are evil. you know,
Or they just a paycheck.
yeah,
That's all they are to you.
so before, and I'm speaking to mothers now, before you go jumping out there talking about this something I got to do because he ain't doing enough, look into it. Just don't take my word for it. Fact
I'll
check that. You
I'll
know.
tell you this. When I talk to couples or even fathers, I try my best to get them to find some kind of silver lining with each other. Like at all costs, if I can get them to avoid going to court and allowing the system to get in a mix now,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I try to do, because once they get in the mix, it's like
That's it.
they become a weapon for you guys to use to hurt each other.
Right. Absolutely.
So in addition to the administrative costs that they use to pay each other and pay salaries and all that kind of
Absolutely.
stuff, you also got dads going to jail for their inability to pay.
Absolutely.
And if they a felon, they struggling to get a job.
They don't
Uh,
need that.
One of my close friends, she gave me the term and it just stood out to me. She said, basically, they in debtor's prison, just as they used to do in biblical times. If you can't pay, you got to stay.
Yeah.
So, like, what kind of society are we to be, doing things like that? And what benefit does the child have now that the dad is,
Out
you
of
know,
his life.
out of his life? So,
Yeah.
I can go in on that all day.
Yeah. I had twins, so a boy and a girl, and my children were young when they had this thing called boy Pampers and girl Pampers. So whoever thought of that should have been put in jail, because a pamper is a pamper. you know, but I used to tell my baby mama that it ain't no court in the land can tell me what to do for my children more than I want to do for my children. So all you got to do is just listen to me, tell me what you need, and I'm gonna make it happen. Okay.
Hmm.
And my children grew up with cell phones on speed dial with my number on it. All they gotta do is call me, and I'm gonna make it happen. And that's the way it's been all their entire life. And they 32 years old, the twins, and my oldest daughter too, who's 37. My oldest son got killed about 15 years ago, and we didn't get a chance for him to get into manhood well enough to know the advantages of what I brought to the table. But my daughter, she knows. Okay, my daughter knows exactly what's going on. But it's a beautiful thing, when you got an adult relationship with your children as well. Now, look, I got
That's
to
good.
ask this question, man. The theme of the show is Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award recipient. Now, we've talked about some of the things that you do in the community, But as I look over your shoulder, I see your award sitting there as well as all your other accolades. So how does it feel being a recipient of this award in 2024?
Oh man, it's amazing. You know, it's the icing on the cake from a long period of work that I've been putting in. I got out of prison in 2013. Found out I was about to have a son, and I knew I had to change my life. Went through all of these struggles, ended up getting a volunteer opportunity to work at a community program. Started a fatherhood movement, took that movement from local to the national level. Um, Word got out. The district attorney reached out to me, got me back in the courtroom, and removed me from parole 4 years early than I was supposed to. Went back to college on a full ride scholarship to get my bachelor's degree. Went right back and got my master's degree. Um, then eventually, got an opportunity to work at the college, which I told you about, as a formerly incarcerated person teaching criminal justice, a former criminal teaching criminal justice. So all of these things have been heavily publicized and, a part of my books and stuff that I write. But to top it all off with this is amazing. And, you know, and let me backtrack. I also received a full pardon from the governor of Wisconsin and had all my rights restored. And then now I receive that's the highest office in the state. Now I receive recognition from the highest office in the country with a personal letter written to me with this beautiful frame, certificate of recognition. Is like, man, who knew after when I was sitting in that cell, not really knowing what I was going to do when I would get out. When I found out I was about to have a kid and I didn't have the best job, when I was going through all these trials and tribulation, who knew at one point I'd be recognized by the president of the United States,
All right.
Joe Biden. So I definitely appreciate it. And, even when I tell the story to the kids that I mentor, it just brings takes the test and turns it into a testimony. And I'm forever appreciative of it.
Well, good. Congratulations, man.
Yeah.
Listening to your story, is an inspiration. And I've had many recipients of the same award come on my show and tell their story. So you're in good company, brother. People
Yeah.
that have, done the battle, been in the battle, still in the battle, and still, feel that they got more to do. I have one person, he ain't been on the show since he got in his award, but I heard his testimony. He was talking to a group of people, and first of all, he felt like he wasn't even worthy to receive the award. But once he got the award, he felt like, okay, now I'm inspired to do even the more.
That's good.
So and that was good words of wisdom because everybody that have gotten the award are still they ain't never stopped. People ain't never stopped doing what they was doing. They got them noticed in order to be able to receive the award. So congratulations, man. That's a beautiful thing, man. Keep up the good
Yeah.
work. Don't quit. Don't stop.
Oh no.
Because we need more people like you, man. That understand. Well, of course, not many awards will be given out uh, in the future because Trump's in office. So we don't even know if the program is still pliable. And if it is, how many people really want an award from Trump? Because
Man.
that kind of tarnishes what it's all about. Because he's
Hey,
self motivated.
he getting rid of he getting rid. I just read something. He talking about cutting Department of Education now. So
Yep,
I would
absolutely.
imagine anything else on the chopping block he gonna get rid of too.
Yeah. And guess what? From what I heard, that was the only office that he nominated a black person to sit over the head of. Ain't that something?
Mhm. Yeah,
That's
that's
the
crazy.
only office that he offered a seat to, and now he talking about getting rid of that whole department.
Hmm.
That's just like when he was in office before, he gave Ben Carson,
Yeah,
an office that he had no expertise in, but he felt like he had to give him something, so he gave him that.
yeah.
And he was ineffective in that role as well.
And it's just an executive order. I mean, it got to pass Congress, which I don't see it happening. But just the pure fact that he trying it is like,
Yeah, that's retarded. That's absolutely retarded, man. I'm just gonna say it like it is. It's retarded. You know, so I want to talk about. I know you're a book author, so let's talk about some of the books that you've written and talk about what's up with that. I see you had one before we started the show. You want to show the picture?
oh yeah. So this is my first book. It's called Working with Dads: 7 Practical Steps to Engaging Fathers in Family Services. So as I was doing the work with the fathers, I was successful in engaging them, and mainly because I'm a credible messenger. I relate. They see themselves in me, and I felt good about myself. It was great. But after a while, I realized that like I'm getting them to come to me and trying to tell them how they should go to child support and use the programs and resources, which they do have funding behind. I know the behind the scene things. But what I realized was the gap was a lot of the staff working in child support don't necessarily know how to work with our community. And, you know, sure, can a deeper initiative of like hiring more people that can relate, that would be great. But in the meantime, I thought to write a book called Working with Dads, which really showed child support staff and leaders how to engage fathers. And what I mean by that is giving them different tools and strategies and largely helping them get rid of any implicit bias they may have because the studies show that what is it 81% of social service workers are women, and I'm not saying that's a inherently bad thing, but some of those women can have bias. Maybe you've been through a divorce, right? Maybe your kid's father is not the greatest. Maybe your relationship with your dad was not the greatest. And so sometimes you don't realize that your personal affects your professional, and you're going in and being punitive and vindictive and mean to somebody that don't even know what you're going through.
Right.
And so that was the premise of that book. And I got a forward by a guy named Dr. Kyle Pruitt, who's one of the leaders, like the number one leader on fatherhood research and early childhood behavioral health. And he wrote a forward for me. So I was very grateful for that. And so, I've been speaking around the country, bringing my books around the country. And now I'm working on my current, a different book, which is a little more personal. Would you want me to go into that?
Yeah, please do.
Okay, so my new book is that book was about helping in that industry. This book is about helping the individual. And so the title is Going Against the Odds: How Underdogs Turn Setbacks to Success. And so I'm a avid rooter for the underdog. And in my opinion, everybody I know or grew up around, we all underdogs.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I'm doing is I'm really breaking down different steps and principles that I did to get to the point where I am in life. and telling underdogs, people that have been to prison, people that have been unjustly accused, people that have been through ups and downs in life, people have lost jobs, people who have felony convictions, like everybody that can be seen as the underdog. I'm teaching them different tools, techniques, and ways to overcome. And so I got a 3-part kind of step. Number one is understanding the odds. A lot of people don't understand some of the things we talked about, like the Tulsa, Oklahoma, and the Jim Crow era, and like you got to understand the odds that you up against, right? Once you understand them, the trauma, the poverty that you went through, the systemic barriers, the way people are sentenced one way with black people and another way with white people. Like, you got to understand that. And unfortunately, a lot of our young people, they out in the streets and they just really haven't reached that age where they can understand it. So what I'm trying to get out as soon as possible, like, understand this. Once you understand it, then you can overcome it. So the saying says, you can't heal what you don't reveal, both on a personal level and on a societal level.
Right.
So once you can see it, then you can be it, then you can achieve it. Right. And then after you overcome it, then we talk about transforming the odds. That's when we get into stuff like getting a presidential lifetime achievement award, like how to go back to school and get your degree. And most people don't get their degrees. Transforming the odds. Most people don't have a successful career. You a business owner. They say most businesses that start up fail within 3 to 5 years. So like, how do you get over those 3 to 5 years? Like, so like, I'm really rooting for the underdog, and this one is more special to me. My first book was like 119 pages. It was quick. It was brief. I really wanted to get directly into the information. I'm already on 100 and something pages with my second book, and I'm only on the first part. And I got 3 parts.
There you go.
So this one's gonna be about 250 pages.
When you got something to say, it's good because you're saying something of substance.
Yeah.
So I applaud you once again. So this is a good opportunity to tell people to reach out to your website, which is listed right here on the bottom of his name. Go over to his website. Now, we talked about this prior to going live, is that if they go over there and they fill out, you tell them, they fill out what?
Yeah. So just go over to my website, SharmainHarris.com, SharmainHarris.com. And if you get on, subscribe somewhere on there, it should say subscribe to my newsletter. Once you fill that out, I'll get your email. You'll be on my list, and you'll be constantly updated about new things that I'm doing. But you'll definitely be updated about my next book coming out. And, once you become a part of my email community, you'll just constantly receive different updates until you hit that unsubscribe button because you're tired of me bombarding your email with all these different promotional materials.
Don't tell me you one of them people, man. No.
Sometimes, when it's me doing it, it's tend to be slower, but I've gotten to a point where I've hired somebody to do it.
Oh yeah.
So that's all they do.
Yeah. Every other day, man, you got 5 emails from you. But
yeah.
Well, that's good. So the main thing is to be aware when the next book is coming out, and there's still copies available of the first book, right?
Yeah. As soon as you go to my website, a link will pop up for the first book.
Okay. So now I heard you say you like to travel a lot. So where are you coming up? Where you gonna be at? What's going on in the immediate future?
So locally, I'll be speaking at a couple schools and a couple colleges. In June, I'm going to Colorado. In October, I'm going to Pennsylvania, Philly. I'll go to Philly for the first time. I got another one in Nebraska, So I travel to these rural areas a lot because of the work that I do, and I'm coming in to bring a different message than they used to. But those are the ones that I can remember off top on my schedule. Otherwise, I'm around locally, speaking at different schools, and just making sure my presence is felt, and making sure I got a positive impact on somebody.
So mostly schools. So a lot of those places you mentioned, like got college town, like Nebraska's a college town.
Yeah,
Philly. Some of these places are
yeah,
college.
Butler, Pennsylvania is the name of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Yeah.
close to Philly. It's like 30 minutes away from it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of those places, by me being in the entertainment industry, I've traveled to a lot of those places with performing groups. They bring us in. They get their quota of black people. Because we come and do a song and a dance, and then we leave quickly.
Hmm. Yep.
We ain't talking about buying a house, staying in their neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yeah, they be like, "Oh, we had our quota for this year, and the year just started." Okay, you know. I never will forget when we was up in the mountains of Washington State. Man, they treated us like we were royalty, man, because they don't get many black people up there.
Yeah.
They got Indian reservations up there, and they always saying they sorry to the Indians, but they had some black folks. Oh man, they lost their mind.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it's interesting. We went in and performed for the grammar kids school and all of that. So everybody wanted to see the black folks. You
Yeah. I
know.
was in Oregon last year.
Uh huh.
Now that's a more populated city, but
Yeah.
it was definitely different. It
Yeah.
was.
Absolutely. So you like
Yeah.
traveling? You take your family
Uh,
with you when you go?
so we actually just took our first family trip. We went down to Nashville, Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
So the first time the kids got on the plane, my oldest boy, his ears was popping, and so he was crying. But we went down to the Gaylord Opryland place, and so it was a resort, and we was there about 5 days, so that was great. I like to travel. We supposed to be going to Italy actually for a graduation in June sometime.
Okay.
My nephew graduating, so that'll be our it'll be my second time out the country, and my kid's first time out the country.
Good.
Uh, I like it, but if I can find a way to do without the airport and the taxis and
Good luck with that.
all that, like
Yeah.
that's 24 hour schedule right there in itself.
Yeah, absolutely. Good luck with that.
Yeah.
That's all I can say. Good luck with that. Look, they tricked me into going back out on the road a couple of years ago, man. And I said that's why I retired. I don't like airports. I don't like hotels, and I still don't like people. So
Yeah.
I'm like I'm retired. I ain't trying to go around all them folks no more if I don't have to.
Ah, yeah, that too.
Yeah, man, it's a nightmare. And I
Yeah,
used to like it, for the first 50 years, but after that, I'm done. you know,
yeah. Having
yeah,
that past about like being incarcerated and stuff, like we get social anxiety, and I've done better over the years, but there's certain things that trigger you. But now you got the family with you, so now you like on super soldier mode. Like nobody better be in here trying to
right,
have a gun or something, or I'm
right,
a turn
right.
into John Wick. So like
Yeah,
I get that social anxiety too a lot sometimes.
yeah, I understand. Now,
Hmm.
look, we getting close to the end of the show, so a couple of things I like to always do at the end of each show, especially when they're a first time guest, no matter when you come. So I like to ask a couple of questions. The first question is, will you come back and see me again on the show?
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, no question.
Okay, good. I'm gonna ask you a knowledge question in between. Did we get a chance to cover everything that you wanted to cover on this show? Did you
Oh
leave
yeah,
anything
yeah,
out?
yeah.
No.
No, we good. Yeah, we
Okay.
covered everything.
Good. All right.
Hmm.
So I'm a little ahead of schedule. So I'm gonna ask this question because I know you can get long-winded. Um, what would you like to leave with the people before you leave here today? You know, is there something particular and special you want to leave?
um, you know, there's a quote that say, life is not about what happens to you, but it's about what you do after, said thing has happened to you. We living in a time where there's so much going on, we can get confused and not really understand what's going on. Our minds is working here and here, and social media, TV, what's happening in Mexico, what's happening in China, what's happening locally. All these different things can get confusing. But I would leave somebody that, like, in that state of mind, you have to be rooted and grounded in the word, in the word of God. Your faith will take you far. One thing I left out is, my dad is a bishop, and I'm a minister at the church, and I preach once a month, and I put so much time and energy into my sermons. It's like even more than I do my speeches. But the only reason why I was able to get here to this level, whatever level people perceive me to be at, is because while I was in behind enemy lines, literally behind enemy lines in society, I've always kept that anchor of the word of God and prayer, and making sure that I'm tapped in, and making sure that despite not understanding, I'm asking God for knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Most people think when you ask for that, it's just from the Bible. No, God gonna give you knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of everything that's around you. And so I tend to be a very observant person. I like to bring in as much information as possible before I even go to speaking. And so the only way I'm able to do that is because of the time that I spend with God. So get right with God. That'd be the word that I leave with anybody watching right now.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. Young person, y'all. What, 37?
36.
36. Got that
Yeah.
wisdom. I said, I done made you another year older. You know, got that
I'll be
wisdom and
37 in September.
yeah, got that wisdom and knowledge, and he's sharing it. And his experiences have elevated him to a place where he really got something to say. I want to say thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come be a part of the show today. Once again, congratulations on being a person in the community, of the community, and keep up the great work of all the things that you're doing. Be encouraged, and I'm gonna say this publicly, man. If there's anything I can do to help you, please don't hesitate to reach out. You know,
Oh, for sure.
I'll take your phone calls. Okay, I don't take everybody's phone calls. All right, I'm just
Right.
letting you know now, but I'll
Yeah.
take yours. Okay, and I'm sure that you'll be able to tap my brain and get some stuff that'll help you out along the way, because that's what being a mentor is all about.
Yep.
I got one, and I try to be one whenever I can. So once again, be encouraged. I'm looking forward to my book now.
Oh, I got you.
I'm putting it on tape.
Yeah.
He
I'm gonna
owed me an
send that right
autographed
over
book,
to you, man.
y'all. Two of them. Book number one and book number two. I ain't playing. I got you on tape. Okay. I'm gonna want it. Now I'm gonna give you my address when we get off the air, because I don't want nobody else coming by to see me. But I'm
Yeah.
gonna give you my address when we get off the air. But thank you. I appreciate you. Stay right
Thank
there. We're gonna end the show. I want to invite everybody to join me each and every Wednesday on Street News Now. Street News Now, where we do no news briefs and commentaries each and every Wednesday at 12 noon. Join me on Street News Now and get the latest update on what's going on. I want to invite you guys to join me each and every Saturday from the desk of Dr. Ron. That's where I get a chance to tell you guys what's going on in my world. Okay, usually something that goes across my desk that'll be a benefit to anybody and everybody. Because if one person going through it, somebody else is going through it too. Also want to remind you guys, yeah, it's February, it's Black History Month, but I believe in celebrating Black history 365 days out of the year. So that means every day plus some. Okay? So join me each and every Sunday evening where I start back up doing my appreciation of all of the history all over the world that people of color, black folks, African Americans, whatever you go by, what we've done to establish ourselves in this world and in history. I want to thank all those that have made contributions and donations up to this point in time. Thank you so very much. These are all of the ways that you can contribute to the show. Please do so. I need your support. And while you're here, hit that subscribe, like, and share button. Hit that button. Let people know that you've seen a great show. Support our guest today. It was his first time here, but he did an outstanding job. And I look forward to seeing you guys on tomorrow. As always, I love you and ain't nothing you can do about it. Stay blessed, stay encouraged.